50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous. And on top of that, the only place he agrees to do the interview, Rob, if you can show this, he goes and interviews with ABC. And there's an Instagram post he put up, Rob. I don't know if you have that or not. If you go on his Instagram account, he goes and does the interview about Diddy's documentary on ABC.
We have to talk about Tupac, which I wasn't committed to, but then I watched the doc. So
didn't know you were getting that.
You have a lot of people saying stuff in there that makes it sound like maybe he was responsible for that murder. Which has never been proven. That's a very serious thing.
But you have Keefy D over in Vegas now, getting ready to go on trial for that case, saying those things.
Did Tupac know that he was going to be killed?
Who shot Tupac? I already know who shot. I believe in karma. I believe in all of that.
We are here today to announce the arrest of Keefy D for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Burn, motherfucker, you deserve to die. Talking about you getting money, but it's funny to me. All you niggas living for me while you fucking with me.
What was Snoop Dogg's reaction when Tupac was killed?
Right after I heard Tupac got shot, and I was so weak I damn near fell over. I immediately flew to Vegas, and I walked in the room, and I seen him laid out on the bed with all kind of tools in him. And his mom came over to me, and she grabbed me, she held me up, and she said, "Baby, you got to be strong." And I went and sat next to him and whispering to him, telling him I loved him and to hold on, and he was gonna be okay. And even in that moment, his mom was thinking more about me than herself and showing me how to love strong.
I told you can't trust these. Now Puffy done kill Tupac, man.
50 Cent went on stage last year and said this.
Maybe I said that because he got Tupac.
You know, and I know, that everyone believes that Diddy was involved in both these shootings and had a direct involvement in your brother's death. That is what the streets have said for 27 years. That's why 50 Cent said it. That's why Eminem has said similar stuff. Would you be comfortable saying that you believe Diddy had nothing to do with it?
No, I wouldn't be comfortable saying that because I don't know. If you look at all the theories, the theory involving him is quite high on the list.
Ron, any comments? Any comments on the trial so far? Any opening statements?
He's having his day.
He's having his day?
He's having his day. We trust the justice system.
Thank you, sir.
God is good.
Netflix's latest docuseries offers a bold, in-depth look at the life and untimely death of Tupac Shakur, turning attention to the long-standing debates and public speculation surrounding music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Instead of assigning blame, the series explores the tensions, cultural dynamics, and unanswered questions of the era, giving viewers a sharper, more compelling perspective on one of hip-hop's most enduring mysteries.
Documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
In Sean Combs' The Reckoning, the filmmakers chart Diddy's journey to becoming one of hip-hop's most influential figures, highlighting the rise that cemented his legacy long before recent legal challenges. The series delves into his historically fraught relationship with Tupac Shakur, a connection Tupac's cousin, William Lassane, describes as increasingly tense, while situating both artists at the center of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that defined the era. Through interviews, the series captures the pressure, competition, and shifting alliances surrounding these icons, showing how the cultural divide sparked decades of rumors and speculation, including renewed discussions about the events leading up to Tupac's 1996 death in Las Vegas.
We heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burrows, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out Tupac.
William didn't hold back, describing the tension between the two stars as sharp and deeply rooted, noting that Diddy may have felt challenged by Tupac's growing influence and independence. He encouraged viewers to consider the wider context of a 1994 shooting in New York, highlighting the chaotic atmosphere of the era rather than pointing fingers, and questioning how much anyone truly understood about what was happening at the time. Music veteran Gene Deal also reflected on the intense competitive pressure between the artists, suggesting that the rivalry weighed heavily on Diddy and added another layer to an already volatile chapter in hip-hop history.
Puff took Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I Get Around talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Which, alright, some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you was dealing with?
Alongside Williams' insights, Tupac's brother Mopreme has expressed that the circumstances surrounding Tupac's death warrant ongoing scrutiny, emphasizing that every angle, including the broader cultural climate and the people involved in that turbulent era, should be carefully examined to uncover the full truth.
Comment saying that you want to see how serious the Vegas PD is going to take this case because Keefy D is people that he name dropped that you want to see if they're going to investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm curious to see how they plan to deal with the case, because he, in his own admissions, mentions other people. You know, are they going to say what happened to these people? Yes, Puffy being one of them. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I do believe there were accomplices, and I don't think all of them have been looked at. So, you know, because over the years, you know, it's a lot of years, you know, amongst the family, we talk, we want to figure it out too. We thinking certain things too. So, you know, we're waiting to see if we can trust this process. I feel like it's bigger because I haven't heard anything about that part of the story from the prosecutor's office. I haven't heard anything about Puffy from the prosecutor's office, even though Keefy D implicates him on these videos that they claim they're using to indict him. Even you got a Crip affiliate from somewhere, but you still not gonna talk about the guy that he mentions by name on the thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's exhausting. You know, or you know, I'm waiting to see how far they go, because that's what everybody's talking about. That's what everybody's talking about. What about Puffy? You know, so it would be weird that the prosecutor's office wouldn't know and address it. That's why I don't know whether to trust this shit or not. You know,
Mopreme later revealed that in Tupac's final moments, his brother seemed to be trying to say something important, a memory that has stayed with him ever since and continues to drive his determination to uncover what really happened.
Tupac condition, because you got so many conflicting stories, right? You got some people that say that, you know, Tupac was moving in the hospital, he was, you know, talking in the hospital, but you being there, from your point of view, how was Tupac condition?
By the time I got there, remember I was coming from LA, so by the time I got there, he had tubes in his throat, in his nose, in his mouth, so he ain't talk to me, not verbally. He was conscious. He was trying to talk. He did want to talk, but he didn't actually verbalize any words. I always, you know, that's gonna be one of the biggest mysteries in my life, because he was trying to tell me something. He was trying so hard. He was shaking the bed. He was looking at me, you know, with his big old eyes, you know, and I know he was trying to tell me something, but I don't know.
Something else I want to ask you, because I think it would be appropriate before we get off the Vegas thing, last thing, because I know I did an interview with Napoleon, and they all gave me their reasons why Afeni pulled the plug because of his condition, but I mean, it would be more appropriate since you was his brother. Afeni, her decision to pull the plug on him, from your point of view, what made her pull the plug, respectfully?
Because he had already flatlined a couple of times. And she didn't want him to keep going through that. I think it was like twice before she, you know, let him go. And that's reasonable. You know what I mean? When I was, you know, when I found out, you know, I could live with it more, you know?
Kirk Burroughs, a former top executive at Bad Boy, later reflected that the tension between Tupac and Diddy may have shaped the chaos of that era far more than he realized at the time. William echoed this view, explaining how the dynamic between the two artists grew increasingly uneasy as Diddy propelled Biggie's rapid rise, while Tupac pursued his own path. According to William, Diddy had hoped for deeper creative collaborations with Tupac, but their ambitions were diverging, creating a competitive atmosphere that only heightened existing tensions. This charged environment set the stage for Tupac's 1994 visit to Quad Studios, where he was suddenly attacked and seriously injured, an incident that became one of hip-hop's most analyzed turning points. Although Diddy, Biggie, and others were reportedly in the building, authorities never linked them to the assault. Still, Tupac's later reflections on his doubts and suspicions have continued to fuel debate, interpretation, and enduring controversy among fans and insiders.
Think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you see what I said in the Vibe article. I basically bowed out and was going to go ahead about my life. The next issue, that wasn't even the next issue, because them cowards waited about 4 issues before they got their story together. 4 issues later, half of New Yorkers commenting on me getting shot. And before, they was all like, we didn't see nothing. In the first issue, we did, Vibe viewers. Nobody seen shit. The 4th issue, when they came back with a reply, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bullet. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. They found the bullet. Oh, you found the bullet, huh? So what is this other shit in me then? What was the doctors talking about? What? Can you explain these other holes in me? How'd I get gunpowder all over me? That insulted my intelligence. So yes, I did say Thug Life was there. Yes, I bowed out, all of that. But when they said that, they breathed.
Diddy has consistently denied any involvement, maintaining that neither he nor Biggie had anything to do with the Quad Studios attack. At the same time, music veteran Gene Deal offered a different perspective, suggesting the incident reflected the high-stakes rivalries and tension that defined the era. The series uses these contrasting accounts to shed light on the complex and often contentious relationships in 1990s hip-hop, revealing how ambition, competition, and loyalty intertwined to shape one of the most scrutinized chapters in music history.
Get robbed at Quad Studios?
Well, I don't think I'm not going to say he knew exactly he was going to get robbed, but he knew he was going to get dealt with. Because he was up there with Andre Harrell, and he was with Jimmy Henchman. And even though I think Pac may have owed Jimmy some money, or he was being disrespectful with Jimmy, and Jimmy ain't the type of dude that you was going to be disrespectful for, because he had some real wolves. And Jimmy was about it himself. You know what I mean? So now, in that essence, Puff is up there in the office with him. They know they about to deal with Pac, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the extent that Jimmy told him what they was gonna do to Pac, or he's gonna get dealt with or whatever like that. But I know Puff had a whip to what was going on.
Years later, in 2011, Dexter Isaac came forward claiming involvement in the 1994 Quad Studios shooting, alleging he acted on instructions from a music industry figure present at the time. While his statements added another layer to the enduring mystery, they remain part of a larger web of testimonies and speculation, underscoring just how complex and contested this chapter of hip-hop history has become.
They know that he had another bracelet that was like a bicycle chain and with charms on it, right? Just gonna say that, all right? He had the diamond chain on with the chain with diamonds at each length going through it, right? He had a big stone on the diamond ring and a smaller stone, one for $35,000 and the one for $20,000. All right, so even Stretch that did this shit, I took his bracelet too, and changed it and put his name, my man's name on it, and took off the name on it. So motherfuckers claiming that this even
so hold on, homie.
Claiming that he was Tupac's stepdaddy, wrote me and wanted me to have my people meet him and give him back the chain and shit, talking about some redemption shit. You know, them niggas ain't had it, man.
So hold on, hey Dex. So that day that happened, November 30th, 1994, it wasn't just Tupac and Freddie Nichols. Stretch was with them too?
Stretch was with them too, yeah. Stretch set the whole shit up. He was in cahoots. He was giving us play-by-play where they was at. On their way there, he was in communication with Jimmy and shit. You know, Jimmy promised them two big eggs and shit.
Wow, so he sold Pac out for a quarter brick, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And
Killboy too.
Wow. Yeah. They got him.
Jimmy Henchman, meanwhile, firmly denied any involvement, insisting he had no connection to the Quad Studios incident. His denial adds another layer to the conflicting narratives surrounding the event, highlighting just how much of this chapter in hip-hop history remains clouded by uncertainty and debate.
I remember the first time I went to your office, there was a big frame picture photograph on one of your walls, and it had Tupac on it wearing a Henchman Entertainment t-shirt. Now, a few years ago, there was a guy named Dexter Isaac that came forward who claimed that you were connected to the Tupac shooting. Do you have anything to say about that?
No, 100%. I've never ducked from answering any Tupac questions, which I could understand if I don't know how Quad Studio morphed into, like I was in Vegas and was part of the shooters that actually ended in his demise. And let me say, me and Tupac were friends, and me and him were friends. I had nothing against Tupac. I liked him. He was younger than me. I'm sure that he looked up to me. There's many moments that me and Pac had that were very intimate, where he talked to me about things that he was afraid of, or things that he loved to do, and all of those kind of things. Here it is, you have a prosecutor and you have a guy who's in jail for life, when they pulled Dexter down to interview him in regards to what he knew about me and Tupac and so on and so forth, I have no doubt at this point that Dexter probably was the guy or one of the assailants on Tupac. But Dexter's story just doesn't make sense. Dexter tells a story that I wanted a ring for my fiance, and so I tell him to get the diamond ring from Tupac so I can give it to my fiance, and so on and so forth. He tells this magical story. The only person that can believe such a story is Todd Kaminsky, who was the prosecutor who was trying to make something out of nothing.
William Lassane says that everything that has come to light over the years has forced him to reconsider the full story, highlighting just how tense and complex the era truly was. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry only intensified, with music and public statements fueling the conflict. Tupac responded to perceived slights through tracks aimed at his rivals, while Diddy later reflected on how the feud was spiraling toward potential violence. The documentary also features Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who is currently linked to investigations surrounding Tupac's 1996 death. In 2008, Davis participated in a proffer session, a setting where individuals can speak openly without their statements being used against them in court. Detective Greg Kading explains that during these sessions, Davis shared his knowledge of the scene at the time, offering a vivid picture of the intense pressures, connections, and rivalries that defined this turbulent chapter in hip-hop history.
Just to make it clear, man, when Puffy came to LA, you used to give him protection, right? From the Southside Crips, because he was scared of Suge Knight?
It speaks for itself, my brother. He was playing chess, and I guess we was playing checkers, cuz.
So he was really scared of Suge Knight like that, yo?
That's what it looked, that's what it sounded like, yeah. Yeah.
Keefe D described feeling terrified by the escalating tensions, noting that the feud between Tupac and his rivals intensified significantly after the release of Hit 'Em Up. He recalled the atmosphere as charged and volatile, with conversations reflecting the high stakes and pressures of the era. The documentary uses these accounts to illustrate just how dangerously competitive and combustible the hip-hop world had become, revealing the fear, rivalry, and unrest that surrounded some of its biggest figures.
You've actually said there was a story about a hit.
Right.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so there's, Keefe D claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions, but most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there. Things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, the welfare of his safety. And he tells Keefe D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. It's out of control. Tupac's on vinyl talking about killing all of our kids when they grow up. And, it's just become this really serious conflict. And he says, I just need you to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem. That's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money. And they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there.
Before you say that, there's a couple things I want to talk about for Vegas. So when you say that Keefe got offered an amount of money, according to him, was there a dollar amount?
Yeah, so there was a dollar amount. But I think that, the nuances of this conversation are that, like, man, I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. It's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's the agreement amount, was $1 million.
So according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Suge or Tupac?
Both of them. Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the talking that he was doing. But it was really about Suge, because it was Suge's muscle that Puffy was afraid of.
Beyond the controversies surrounding Tupac, Diddy has long been the focus of speculation and rumor tied to other high-profile events in hip-hop, reflecting the intense scrutiny and fascination that has followed him throughout his career. The documentary examines how these swirling stories, whether true or not, helped shape the era's atmosphere of tension, competition, and intrigue.
Alleged that Diddy paid him $1 million to try to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. Investigators early on already zeroed in on Keefy D because he is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, who was the main suspect in Tupac's unaliving. During this time, they believed that Keefy D was also in Vegas, and this is things that we have heard him say over the years in his multiple interviews, and one reason why he's on trial for the unaliving of Tupac. But then investigators really started to get curious when they found out that Keefy D was at the Peterson Museum the night that Biggie was unalived. Back in 1997, at the height of this investigation, police actually raided Keefy D's house for gang activity, and they seized one of the vehicles that were at his house because it matched the Chevy Impala description of the person who drove away after Biggie was unalived.
Keefy D was a shot caller for the Southside Crips and the uncle of Orlando Anderson. It was determined that Keefy D had been in Las Vegas along with his nephew Orlando the night Tupac was shot. Additionally, Keefy D's name had come up in the original Biggie investigation when it was discovered that he was at the party at the Peterson and he had access to a Chevy Impala.
After Tupac was shot, there was rumors on the street that Bad Boy Records owed the Southside Crips $1 million.
After seizing Keefy D's vehicle and raiding his house for gang activity, this is when investigators would first try to question Keefy D if he had any involvement in Biggie's unaliving. And at this point in time, he really didn't talk, and he told them that they were barking up the wrong tree.
Kirk Burroughs recalled the unusual circumstances on the night Tupac was shot, including the group's separate travel plans to the Mike Tyson fight, which added an unusual layer to an already chaotic evening. The series also highlights Keef D's recollections of the events that followed, while underscoring that Diddy has consistently denied any involvement and was never considered a suspect by Las Vegas authorities. Beyond the facts of that night, the documentary explores the deep tensions and rivalries that shaped Tupac and Diddy's relationship, capturing the mix of ambition, conflict, and scrutiny that kept the hip-hop world on edge and continues to fuel debate decades later.
That's a similar story to what I heard from somebody that I know is not, I know she's not lying because she had no reason to lie. First, she told me she saw somebody doing something to him, and she walked in and she thought, he didn't, he never said nothing. He didn't even acknowledge her. So she's thinking she's under the radar. Next thing, she's hanging out in Miami, and, she comes back and says she don't know what happened, and she woke up, and so,
What did she say she saw?
Someone giving him head. That's as far as I'll go, and then you could do the math.
Were they famous? Did she say they were famous?
Oh, no, they wasn't famous. They was an assistant working with her. Yeah. So.
An assistant. I want to guess, but I'm not.
She didn't tell me no, it's not somebody that you would know. It was somebody that, she came there, she worked doing photography and, some type of media work where they shot ads and things like that. They were there to work, and she walked in the wrong bathroom and caught the wrong thing.
Oh, wow.
So, she got drugged. It probably was some videotapes made to tell her to shut the hell up and don't repeat what she saw.
Tupac's death isn't the only story the documentary examines. It also shines a light on Diddy's relationship with Biggie, raising questions about how genuine and straightforward that connection really was. According to those closest to him, the reality was far more complex than public appearances suggested, revealing the intricate mix of loyalty, ambition, and tension that defined one of hip-hop's most famous partnerships.
Kirk Burroughs, I want to go back to this interview that he did with Rolling Stone. He said that Diddy, he was jealous of the relationship between Tupac and Big. And he also went on to say that Diddy, he wanted to be friends with Tupac, but Tupac wasn't interested.
Diddy and Tupac was friends at first, bro. I remember the time me and Diddy rolled up to Pac in I think it's what's the name of that club? The Roxy. There was some kind of concert going on, and they was talking and everything. They had a friendship. I don't know why their friendship fell out. Their friendship was before before Biggie and Pop. So I don't know why they fell out. I know every girl that Tupac had, Puff wanted and got. So did he have jealousy? Yeah, he had a jealousy of Pac. But I think that it was more so that he knew Big was the meal ticket. And that Pac wanted Big to be with him with Thug Life, but he didn't have the money at the time. And when Big got the money from Puff, Pac gave him the blessings to go with him, but he also told Big that he had to watch Puff because Puff was gonna rob him blind.
So you believe Kirk Burroughs when he say that, Diddy, he was jealous of the relationship between Tupac and Big?
I don't know if I could say he was jealous with his relationship with Big. He didn't like Pac. It's something that happened between Pac and him that he didn't like it.
Overall, the documentary paints a vivid picture of intense rivalries, high-stakes tension, and complex relationships in 1990s hip-hop, showing how conflicts between major figures like Tupac, Biggie, and Diddy fueled speculation and debate for decades. While it raises questions about the era, it stops short of proving any wrongdoing, leaving viewers to draw their own conclusions about the events and dynamics at play. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think these legendary rivalries shaped hip-hop history?